Welcome back to K&L Farms. I'm Ken. I hope this video finds you well. On my channel I've themed quite a few times. I'm trying to get that blade off and get that brush hog on there, and something else came up much more important than putting the brush hog on, and actually it's a case of now I have to do it. But so I'm going to take this back blade off and put I got a 3-point backhoe attachment for this tractor. It's very small, but I didn't two things. I didn't think I justified buying a whole backhoe, which is expensive for me to use maybe 20 hours a year. But I was warned when I bought that backhoe attachment, or 3-point backhoe attachment, that they're extremely difficult to put on. And I thought, oh no, they're full of hood. They don't know what they're talking about. They did. They knew what they're talking about. So I'm going to take part of, maybe half of today, and get that blade off. Which that blade, just a few minutes, that blade comes off. Your biggest thing is where you're going to put it, so you can get it, so you remember where it's at. And the second thing is the rest of the day is going to be trying to get that 3-point backhoe attachment onto the tractor. So let's get started on that. I'll probably swing you around. I don't even know if I'm going to show you taking the blade off, because the blade is super simple, and I think I have a video on my channel already on taking blades off and on already. So okay, backhoe attachment, my old tractor, and there's going to be 3 points of contact. This goes in here, and these go down there, and these pins keep them. That's just a driver. The one thing I did, which I think is good, is this unit comes with its own hydraulic sump pump and a PTO driven hydraulic pump. I didn't want the hydraulics run off the tractor. Well, one, I don't have quick connects on the back of the tractor because it's too old, but two is I'd rather keep the pump, this pump, on this end, because if something happens I want to split it. I got a problem with this end, get rid of that end. If I have a problem with the hydraulics, which I don't normally on the tractor, this tractor, and I don't want to overwork the RPMs and the hydraulics on the main tractor, I'd rather get rid of this, because this is, I think I probably got maybe $4,000 into it when I bought it. This is disposable, and I know in my generation we don't normally say that, but I'm trying to isolate the two functions so that I don't damage both of them at the same time. So if I ran the hydraulics off here and I damage the hydraulics off the main tractor, then I don't have a backhoe and I don't have a tractor anymore. I really like my tractor. I don't want to break my tractor. That's why I got a PTO. So I got to go up and hook that PTO, and normally what I do, hook the PTO, get the tractor running, get the hydraulics on these lifts and all of the units, so I can actually work it, which I'll show you later on the video. I can kind of work it a little bit to get it up in the air, because you can see that pin compared to that pin, got to come up 6 inches and go back 6 inches. The PTO's running. Now I can lift these outriggers up and get this kind of set up and square. See how this tip towards the pin? I'm trying to get that squared up all the way there. Let's see if it works. That's not good. you unscrew that up a little bit? I'm going to move the tractor. And when I move the tractor, I can't go farther than these hydraulic lines. I can't go forward than these hydraulic lines. I'm going to spin the front end this way. See if I get this pin in. This pin is normally the most important. But that pin over there, I can probably get in right now. Let me see if I can get this out there. End of this tractor towards the backhoe that way a little bit. It's going to end up, this pin goes in that hole. That's the tractor that I got running this in. But I'll kind of go in. Let's get one pin in, and then it's kind of try and go for that. Okay, so it's the next day, and I've got this about halfway on yesterday, and my wife reminded me of another job that I had forgotten. I'm older, it happens. So I had to take this back off, and I'm going to use a tractor, and then I'll put it back on later. So I wasn't successful getting it all the way on. You've seen me get the hydraulics working and stuff. And I was going to tell you three things basically, if I can remember. But number one is, once you get the hoe on this tractor, the hoe is heavy enough. You can't use the bucket. You just take it to your location where you're going to do your repairs or dig your ditch, and do your ditch work. Don't move it around. Bring it back down, drop it back off. You don't freelance. You don't have any other assignments with the tractor or the hose on, because it gets kind of loose and kind of dangerous. And then I was going to tell you, we can put our heads in the sand over this inflation thing. But the two things that came to me is, one, when preppers and homesteaders, they kind of go together, and back years ago, I was buying cases of food, cases of soup, beans, whatever, and everybody around me, well, he's crazy, he's on the lunatic trail, they're going to put him in a straitjacket pretty quick. When I was buying this soup, I'd go buy a cart full of soup. When my wife went shopping for her stuff, I'd go in there with the cart, fill it up with my cases of soup, come out the door. I was crazy as a lark, they said. Well, come to find out, I'm still eating that soup that I was buying for 79 cents a can. And I went to buy a can of soup at the store the other day, and it was $3.50 a can. Now who's laughing all the way to the bank? And I was also going to tell you, I did chicken pen. I cleaned out a chicken pen between putting the backhoe on and the wife and I having that conversation around, well, you got to do this also. And I used to bale, we used to get hay, and when my dad was still alive, he targeted $2 a bale. And I know 15 years ago I was paying $2 a bale, and this was grass hay feeding to the animals. I had to get chicken bedding. I had to get a bale of straw for chicken bedding, and it was $11 for a bale of straw. Now, are we actually in a serious case of inflation or not? I'll leave that up to you.